The Euros are finally upon us. In fact, by the time you see this video, we'll have already seen the match between Italy and Turkey. But I did want to record my predictions before that first match, so here we go. These are my Euro 2020 predictions. I'm just going to be using the tournament predictor from the official UEFA site, so let's get into this, shall we? If you've been keeping up to date on the channel, then you'll already know what I think of the group stages, so I'm just going to run through these very quickly. If you want more in-depth detail as to why I've gone for some of these selections, do make sure to go and give those videos a watch. But I do think Italy are coming first. It's going to be Turkey second. They're everyone's dark horses. We've already discussed that they aren't really a dark horse anymore, but there you go. In fact, I think this will probably be determined by the outcome of the match, which is kicking off in around half an hour. And it's a tricky one between Switzerland and Wales. Everyone's writing Wales off, but I'm going to give them third place. And Switzerland, I'm afraid, are going to finish bottom. For Group B, Belgium really should be winning this one. Denmark, Russia and Finland. I'm really sorry, Finland, but I don't see you doing anything at this Euros. And it's a similar story in Group C, where there's one standout side in the Netherlands. I did predict Austria to come second in my preview. I think I'm going to change that to Ukraine coming second. The more I think about the team, the more I'm like, they've actually got some really good players. I just think they can do bits. Austria, I'm going to say third. North Macedonia again. I'm sorry, North Macedonia. I just don't think you got a chance. And then that takes us into Group D. We might as well just end the video here because England are just going to win, aren't they? Czech Republic, that's Croatia. Croatia in second, Czech Republic in fourth. And yes, Scotland are going to come third. They're going to beat the Czech Republic and they might even qualify. Who knows? Who knows? Group E, it's a story of like one team just being a lot better than the others. We've got Spain up top. I'm going to say Lewandowski's Poland. If Sweden had Zlatan, maybe I'd say they finished second, but that is the order I'm going to go for that. And then again, it's an obvious one, but that is going to be my order. I think Portugal might actually win that group. If I was going to change it, I would move France second and Portugal first, but I can't not see France just winning quite comfortably, because they are France. As good as Portugal are, France are France. So I do see that being a thing. So now we need to move into the best placed, third placed team. So I've got to pick 4 of these, and I shouldn't be picking it off the quality of these teams. I should be picking it off based on, do I think this team, I should be basing it off, do I think these teams are going to get a win against 4th place in the group, really? Because if you get a draw against 4th place, then you're most likely not going to do that. So, for example, I do think Germany will beat Hungary. I think Scotland will beat Czech Republic. I do think Wales will beat, who are they playing again? They're playing Switzerland. I'll say Wales beat Switzerland. So then we've got Sweden, Austria, Russia. Sweden, Austria, Russia. Who does Sweden play? Oh, I don't think Sweden are going to make it, you know. They might get a draw against Slovakia, potentially. So I guess it's between Russia and Austria. I'm going to say Finland, unfortunately, lose like 3-0 to Russia, whereas Austria can only beat North Macedonia like, 1 or 2-0. It'll come down to goal difference, and I'll say Russia get through. Now then, the knockout rounds. I haven't done a full preview of this yet, because obviously we're in the world of hypotheticals now, but this can be really interesting to see where the teams have landed. So we've got Belgium, Scotland, Italy, Ukraine, France, Russia, Croatia, Poland, Spain, Wales, England, Portugal, Netherlands, Germany, Turkey, Denmark. Some really tasty fixtures in there. Scotland, you're lucky to be in the round of 16. It's definitely going to be Belgium. That's not a question for me. Italy are that good. Again, not a question. That'll be the end of Russia's tournament. It's not going to be an easy one for Croatia, but I think they've got too much quality to lose to Poland. Wales, again, that'll be the end of your tournament. We'll get to England in a second. Turkey will beat Denmark. This is going to be a tricky one. Again, if Van Dijk was in the side, I would not hesitate. I would not hesitate. If Germany are going to be good enough to get through the group, to survive the group, they're just a little bit shambolic sometimes. That's my only thinking. They've been shambolic in recent tournaments. I'm going to say Netherlands. And England. We're going to say England. I know that is such a tricky fixture. That's such a tricky fixture. But you've got to have faith, haven't you? You never know what can happen. Portugal have got the better of England too many times at international tournaments. within my lifetime. I think of the Rooney being sent off. I think of losing on penalties. I think, when was it? Was it 2004 and then 2006? It happened back to back, I think, against Portugal. This is redemption. England are going to beat Portugal. It's going to be a really tight game. It's going to be very tricky, but I am going to say England do beat Portugal and they do progress to the quarter-finals. That's the only contentious one. I think realistically, you could say Netherlands, Germany, but even then, I think Netherlands will just have too much for Germany. Turkey are just a better side than Denmark. Wales, they won't have enough for Spain. Tricky one, but Croatia's midfield, Poland, too reliant on Lewandowski, they can potentially just shut them down. Russia ain't it. Ukraine aren't the same level as Italy. Same story of Scotland, Belgium. So I'm happy with those. Like I say, the only contentious one maybe being England, Portugal. But it's coming home, so there you go. Belgium, Italy. Now, actually no, that's quite an interesting one. Let's save that one. France, Croatia. A repeat of the World Cup final, obviously, coming up against France. It's going to be too much for them, and you can't really hold it against them for not beating France. Netherlands, Turkey. This is going to be interesting, and I'm going to say, oh God, and I'm going to say Turkey. Turkey. They are the horses for this competition. They aren't the dark horses. They are just the horses for this competition. And this will be where they whip out a surprise. Turkey will beat the Netherlands. As much as I lauded them in my preview to an extent, they are still a bit of a shambles in relative terms. They've still got a really weird manager situation going on. De Boer, like, you know, when Koeman was manager before he went to Barca, you were like, oh, they could do something here. And obviously Van Dijk was fit. Now I'm not so sure. I'm going to say Turkey beat Netherlands. England. I think England versus Spain is actually an easier fixture than England against Portugal. Spain aren't as strong as Portugal. So by that logic, since I'm saying that England are going to beat Portugal, I've got to say they're going to beat Spain. So it's going to be England against Spain in the quarters, and England are going to win it. England are going to win it. They are going to be... Eric Garcia is going to do something shambolic in defence, and Phil Foden is going to capitalise. He's going to square it to Harry Kane, and he's going to put it in the back of the net. And England will win that one. And England will get to the semi-finals. Belgium, Italy. Now that, for me, is probably the... of all these hypotheticals, this is probably the tastiest fixture so far. Belgium, as we know, this is their golden generation's last chance, to be honest. Italy... as I discussed in my preview, national team in resurgence, excellent manager in Roberto Mancini, very good, talented squad, good mixture of experience and youth in that side, and I'm going to give it to Italy. I'm going to say Belgium once again flounder at an international tournament, and they will be tactically naive, and Mancini's Italy are going to dominate them. Well, not dominate, but they are going to win by, I'd say, 1-0 or 2-0, and Belgium won't really have too many chances in that hypothetical game if it happens. And I am wearing an Italy shirt, so, you know. And this really sets up an incredibly interesting semi-final predicament, because this is worthy of being the final, Italy against France. That is naughty, naughty. And then on the other side, it's much weaker, really. No offence to England or Turkey, but this has now, everyone was talking about England finishing first and having a much harder draw. Actually, well, the way I've calculated it is actually, it's technically the weaker side of the draw, because you're avoiding Italy, you're avoiding France, you're avoiding Belgium. Yes, you've got to deal with Spain and Portugal, and, you know, maybe Germany could win, maybe the Netherlands would win, you wouldn't be facing Turkey. But there you go. In theory, England finishing first might be the thing to do, according to LNobbins. And as plucky as Turkey have been up until now, this will be the end of their tournament, because England are getting into the final, and England will destroy Turkey. And by destroy, I mean maybe win, like, you know, 1 or 2-0, maybe 2-1. But again, on paper, if England can beat Portugal, then England can beat Spain, and then England can beat Turkey. You know, as much as everyone wants to say Turkey are the dark horses, Spain are still a better side, Portugal are a much better side, so England will have already faced their toughest test, and I'm going to say they will get into the final. And we've got Italy against France. France World Cup winners, Euro runner-ups. Runner-ups? Runners-up? Runners-up? Runner-ups. Euros runners-up? I think that's the right verbiage. Oh, my brain. Euros runners-up, France World Cup winners. World champions. Best squad, best team in the entire competition. Huge opportunity for them to remedy the wrongs of 2016. Tournament favourites. And for all of those reasons, that's why I'm going to say Italy win. Yeah. They'll be too defensively astute and resolute for France. They are going to hit France on the counter-attack. They're going to allow France to have the ball in this one. They will be relatively progressive throughout this tournament, Italy. However, they're going to be too good for France, frankly. They're going to be too good for France. And Mancini will have a tactical masterclass, and that is going to set up an Italy versus England final. And that is a really interesting final. I don't think anyone realistically would have predicted England versus Italy. Again, I know it's only a hypothetical. I don't know who else has got England versus Italy, either team, in their final. Let me know if you have. Comment your final too, by the way. But it is going to be England-Italy. And for England, this is going to be much better than facing France. I think if England play France at any point in this tournament, they are going to get bopped. However, Italy aren't as strong as France, despite me saying Italy are going to beat France. That's going to be for tactical reasons, not necessarily personnel reasons. And as we know, I don't know why I'm delaying it, because even though I'm wearing the shirt, I'm wearing the Italy shirt, which is a Balotelli shirt, by the way. But it's coming home. England are winning the Euros. England are winning the Euros. England will beat Italy in the final, and they will win the Euros. All of the years of hurt will stop. There you go. England, my Euro 2020 winners. That's right. It's not just a pipe dream, it is coming home. I think I've given pretty good logic there, to be fair. The Portugal one is the only massive question mark. I don't think many eyebrows would be raised if England beat Spain or Turkey, and then anything can happen in a final. The only unrealistic one you might say is the Portugal one. And I'll say right now, if Portugal beat England, I think it'll be Portugal in the final. Because for me, they are the second best team at this tournament, and it might actually end up being a Portugal-France final again. It might be a repeat of the 2016 Euros final. But there you go, guys. England are going to win it according to LNobbins. Those are my Euro 2020 predictions. It's coming home. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to will it and say it into existence. It is coming home. Let me know what your predictions are in the comments. Make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and if you have already done so, make sure to share the channel with someone who you think may like this sort of football content. And even if you don't know anyone who would, just send it out to them anyway. Enjoy the Euros, guys. I'm going to be live streaming a lot of the games. Like I said, I will be streaming the Turkey-Italy game very shortly. If you want to join our Discord server that lists every single game that we will be streaming, you can also stay updated on my TikTok as to which games we're streaming. But the next game you will see after this one will be the England-Croatia game, and I do foresee me streaming most, if not all, of the England games. Eat, yeet, skeet, delete. Enjoy the Euros. Have a good day.